motherfucker fancy as hell.
Peace, bro. How you doing, man?
Be good. How you doing? I'm doing good, man.
I can't complain. Uh, I can't see the video. You know how to turn it on?
Yeah. All right. Oh shit.
There you go. There you go. All right. So how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just chilling. How you doing?
I can't complain. Just gonna ask you a few questions, man. You're a very established artist, and I just wanted to pick your brain for a little bit.
Okay, bet.
All right, cool. So, thank you for joining us today. So who are you, and how do you define your art?
Ooh. Starting off with the saucy questions.
Got
Who
to,
am I?
man.
That's a great. I'm still in the process of discovering who I am, especially during all of this chaos. It's a great time to figure it out.
Yeah.
On a surface level, I'm a black man from Wilmington, Delaware. What was the second question?
How do you define your art?
How do I define my art? I define it as Afro-Surrealism.
Okay.
That's how I would define it. Yeah.
That's perfect. So what's your background, other than being from Delaware? Like, how were you brought up?
Like with art or just like in life?
Just in life.
Oh, just in life. Oh, I grew up in a small town, Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware. A lot of people have never heard of Delaware.
Mm.
It's about a 70% black city. Super small. It's like you could run through all of Wilmington in about 15, 30, like 30 minutes. It's small, it's tight. So it's like really close knit. It's a lot of family. It's almost like an island for real, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows everybody. Grew up in a small apartment on Washington Street. And I grew up in the hood, but my parents were so good at masking it. I never felt broke, ever. I never felt broke until recently.
It's likewise, man. Likewise on my part too. I mean, I didn't get everything I wanted for Christmas, but it always felt special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it felt good.
So why do you make the type of art that why do you make surrealist art?
Why do I make surrealist art? I think it all boils down to, I really was claiming, like, I really thought it was MC Escher that inspired me a lot. But I think it was Dr. Seuss. I think it was almost all Dr. Seuss. Like, just the rhyming nature of it, like, getting into Dr. Seuss early on, and then remembering in kindergarten when I, like, had, like, a Busta Rhyme tape that I snuck in that I wanted to listen to and, like, let kids listen to. The rhymes like, Dr. Seuss felt so hip-hop to me, and the imagery was so surreal. And I kind of just looked at Wilmington like that, because it is like a really, Wilmington, it's just a little small, weird Whoville type of place. There's just a bunch of characters, because there's no real culture, so everybody that you meet here is a character.
That's interesting. So does hip-hop influence you in a big way?
Hell yeah, like hip-hop influences me 1,000%. Like, I know I wouldn't have pursued painting or drawing or none of that shit. Like, I did it before because I was copying Looney Tunes, but I wouldn't have really pursued it if it wasn't for Pharrell and Kanye.
Okay. So do you
like those were like Pharrell, Kanye, and Andre 3000 probably.
So does the mood of your paintings differ between the type of music you listen to?
Does it?
Like, for example, if you listen to Nas or something like that, would that have a different outcome rather than you listening to Outkast, three Stacks or
That's
whatever?
what I'm thinking about. I remember, because I'm thinking about the series I did when I was listening to a lot of Tyler. It did look different than everything else.
Mm.
I don't think I've taken enough like inventory on that, but now I'm gonna paint with certain music in mind because I'm sure it does play a big part in how she turns out.
I could feel that. Whenever I'm editing photos, the soundtrack usually leads the type of tone that I'm trying to like, I guess, end up with the end result. So how do you choose a specific theme if you have like specific themes for your pieces?
I choose themes off of kind of like hip hop. Like what I love about hip hop, what I love and what I love is like you only need like you only need one song to be like a situation for shit to get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of albums have like 3 songs and like a bunch of miscellaneous songs. When I think about like painting, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ideas. I'm not wasting my time even putting any energy into it.
Mm.
I want all singles.
Yeah. When I look at your work, it kind of reminds me of Salvador Dali's piece, Persistence of Memory, the 1931 painting with the melting clocks over the landscapes. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Do you derive any influence from that, or?
I like Dali and I like Escher. I like Dali because I went to art school from 6th grade to like 12th grade. All black and white drawing, like no painting, no color pencil, all black and white for like 6 years, and all like very specific and detailed. So I naturally have like a appreciation for like realistic, high quality shit.
Yeah.
But I also love creativity, and I feel like Dali is like a master at blending both of those worlds, where it's like super realistic, but it's super absolutely not at the same time. But it makes sense because
It's
of his
like
skill.
it's like the state that you're in when you're caught in between dreams and being awake, if that makes sense.
Exactly, that lucid state.
Yeah. Um, does your art represent something about you?
I think the most it represents from what I've shared with people probably is my sense of humor.
Mm.
Even because I'm way more complex and deep, but I feel like I don't even like that deep shit sometimes. Like I like I like
Yeah,
shit that's like it's either gonna make me think or just make me giggle. I love shit that makes me giggle for real.
yeah.
I love it. Or just that's interesting. Just something that just catches my attention for a second.
So is that like a specific message you want to, I guess, give out to the world? Is just to look at the humor in things when you show your artwork?
Just to make things light because it's so easy to make things heavy. It's easy and like I hate seeing that shit on Instagram for real. So many artists just copy other artists' work. It'll be like the same situation. You know that if somebody gets shot, you're gonna see a whole bunch of shit with a cop and somebody getting shot. It's like, all right, I get it. It hurts. We already seen the shit on the news. Y'all don't need to keep painting the same thing. We should be painting something that like counters that energy. Something that's like make fun of the shit or make it lighter. The heaviness doesn't make anybody feel better. And you can't even like solve problems if you don't feel better. You fucked up if you just stressed out all the time. So I don't want to put that shit in my art. I can't even paint when I'm stressed out.
I feel that. I think a lot of comedians view the world in the same way, you know. They look at like, I guess, tragedies or certain downfalls of certain people and just make light of it and, you know, tell a joke here and there.
That's probably why I didn't know how to answer that music question, because a lot of times when I'm painting, I'm listening to podcasts, like comedy podcasts. So I definitely look at art like comedy. And I think that's also why I'm so focused on the idea. Because it's like every painting is like a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to keep telling the same joke.
Yeah.
So I hate having this. I don't hate it. I dislike being known for a particular style because I don't even enjoy painting in one style. Like, that's just one joke. That's one bit.
And it's like growth. Like, we're not the same as we are like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you know, and it'd be mundane if we just stayed at the same, I guess, stayed at the same level mentally. Do you feel that what is your role as an artist in society, if you think that you have one?
I think about that shit a lot. That's a good question. I think my biggest role is just to make people think. Like, with the title of an artist, you're able to just get away with shit. Like, I'm just able to just get away with shit because I'm an artist and people like accept that title. So I should just be doing shit that challenges society and makes people think as much as I can. Because I can get away with it. Like, other people can't get away with it the same way.
So do you try to push people's belief systems with your art, or like make them think outside of the norm?
I definitely do it my writing. I have volumes of artwork that I'm about to release that I've just been sitting on.
Can't wait.
That I wasn't. So I have a lot of art that is about to hit on all of those topics.
True. So what inspires you?
That's a good question because as of lately, this shit has been crazy.
Yeah.
It's been wild. I thought I was gonna be mad inspired, but I just wasn't at all. This shit just seems like chaos, man. Shit's crazy out here. Like, and I don't even know how to do the lighthearted, but I'm still gonna figure it out. I'm gonna master how to figure out how to articulate this moment. But what usually inspires me? Words, different funny things I see, like listening to the 85 South show, and DC Young Fly might be roasting the shit out of somebody, but he says something. He might call somebody a peanut head or something, but actually painting what that would look like if they actually did have a peanut head. Like, actually painting what roast looked like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shit like that, like funny shit. I love funny shit that I think black people will see. Like, just the fact that you chuckle at that, like something that you would see and be like, oh, that's some stupid shit, man. Yeah. Just that moment right there.
That's fly. So who are your biggest influences in any field? Doesn't have to be specifically art.
Biggest influences any field. Any field, biggest influence. Damn.
Could be hip hop, actors, maybe a mentor here and there. Anybody.
I gotta say Kanye. I gotta say Kanye. He was just super creative. He's just been the most creative. I mean, his shit is weird recently, but he's been the most creative artist. Like, he opened up so many different doors and like pathways and shit. He's a different kind of artist. And because he can actually draw, like, that inspired me a lot. The fact that he went to art school and then just paths. But he was actually nice as an artist.
I love Kanye because he seems extremely calculated with his movements. But it's hard to tell what he's doing because it's like a magician show, a sleight of hand type thing.
It is.
He'll have you looking at one aspect when he's doing something totally different with his other hand. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's funny that you said that because the other influence I was thinking about was going to be David Blaine.
I love David Blaine. I was just watching.
I love David Blaine, man. And I love incorporating that into art too, like optical illusions. Because I feel like when I think about art, because when I went to art school, it was super competitive. So I would just think about like, all right, how am I going to capture somebody's attention more than everybody else's? Like, fuck everybody painting. Like, that's how you got to think in art school. Well, you don't have to, but that's how I was thinking.
Mm.
So optical illusions is one way that you just like capture somebody's eye off the rip. But optical illusions just make you look at it longer. Because a lot of people don't look at shit. A lot of people will look at your art for like, man, 3 seconds and keep walking. They don't give a fuck about your art.
Yeah.
You got to draw something. You got to make something weird happen on that canvas. I think that's why I love David Blaine. I love magic. Just shit that seems. You got to make it look like something is not supposed to be happening that is happening. You got to make a magical moment that captures people because they do not give a fuck. They don't.
That's deep. That's deep, man. So how have you developed your career? Or is it still developing? Are you still
It's definitely still developing. I've realized like just recently, luckily with this COVID weird shit, just everybody just sitting up just thinking and shit. I realized like I spent the amount of time I spent trying to think myself into being an established artist. I haven't matched that. I haven't had that same amount of time in being an established artist. So I'm just getting used to the idea of like, oh, they accepted the idea that I was like pondering on making them accept for years and years and years. I'm just like getting into that, like accepting that idea. So now I feel like my shit is just starting because I'm just starting to be like, oh, all right, it's real now. Okay, bet. They really looking. All right, bet. I got paint now.
I mean, from the time I guess followed you on Facebook and seeing even before that, seeing your work like all across social media, it's been like years in the making, right? Like it's just hitting you now.
It's just because when you in it, the time ain't the same. I wasn't celebrating any wins. I was just moving. I wasn't even like realizing that anything was changing at all. I just kept moving.
It was the grind. It was
just the grind.
Yeah.
So now that I haven't had to grind, it's like, all right, you really did some shit, nigga. All right. All right, lock in for real now, because you were just grinding, like aimlessly, just grinding. So now it's about putting some direction on that grind, and not just grinding just cause. Even though that shit does work, though. I mean, it worked.
Yeah. So how do you navigate the art world? Like, I know it's a lot of like, I don't want to say classism in the art industry, but how do you what am I trying to say? How do you bring the attention to yourself? Like, how do you bring that attention to you?
I think you gotta. How do I do it? That's the question. How do I bring that? I feel like I'm a fan of culture, and I'm a fan of people, and I'm a fan of what gets people riled. Like that chuckle. I'm a fan of that chuckle. Like fan of that shit. I love seeing if I'm right about that. Like, will they like this as much as I think they will? Because I'm thinking about them in my, instead of like, a lot of my art, that's something I'm dealing with too. A lot of my art, because of social media, I was thinking with the consumer in mind. I was like, all right, I'm gonna need black people to fuck with this. I'm gonna need black people to love this. So I was always thinking with the consumer in mind. I wasn't even thinking about, I wasn't painting, if it was just me, I would be painting titties all the time. Like, I would just be painting naked women all the time, because that's all I was drawing before, like, I was getting attention. I would just paint women all the time. So when I started thinking about the consumer, that's all I'll be focused on. Like, how can I make them fuck with this? Or I know what they fuck with. How can I flip it in a way that they see it in a whole different light.
Mm.
How can I make that thing even more interesting than it was?
Mm. So would you say social media helped you a lot by just getting your pieces out there to the masses?
It definitely did. It definitely did. But I think what also helped, because I think it's a lot for some people. A lot of people, some people, they think the social media thing gonna do more for them than it will. I mean, if you, it can, but as an artist, it's hard.
Mm.
Because I grew up in such a small town. I also went door to door selling pictures and shit. So when social media came around, I just knew where to go. Like, I also was in the streets hard. And I think that helped a lot. Like, I might be vending at a random place and bump into somebody who I don't even know who the hell this is. I'm just vending out here. But they might have 100,000 followers and they just reshare some shit because they seen some dude on some corner in Miami selling pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the internet, I feel like both. The internet and actually being out here definitely helped.
So where did that grind come from? Where did that hunger come from?
Honestly, when I think about it, it's probably from getting allowances. like being younger and like clean up, you might get like $1 or some shit.
Yeah.
Soon as you get introduced to money as a kid, it's like, man, how can I get some more money? I want some more money. So just little shit with my friends. I remember we was like 9 and 8 selling colognes with business cards. We were just doing shit, just cause. And I always felt like I never had a selling small. Like, cause I feel like, all right, if this is $10, because when I first was selling prints, it was $10. It's like, all right, if I got $10 prints, that only costs $1 or a quarter to make, and there's billions of people on Earth. All I gotta do is find 1,000 people to give me $10, and that's $10,000. All right, I don't mind bothering people. Hi, I'm selling art. I don't even have no good sales pitch. It's just it's like a numbers game. You're gonna bump into the people because it's just so many people on Earth. I'm not even a salesman at all.
I mean, I could dig it, man. Back in middle school and high school, I used to sell like little candy that I caught from the gas station or whatever, and just mark it up a couple cents. Yeah, the candy bag was always lucrative, man. Like, so what type of materials do you use to create your pieces?
I've been using the bare minimums. I get a deal on some. I might get some canvases from Goodwill. I might get a deal on some canvases at Michael's. I don't buy like the small tubes of paint, even though I really want to, and I really could. They just run out too fast, and I hate that. So I just really get like the Artist Loft, like $10 gallons of paint, and mix my own colors, and get like a nice set of oil paints, and that's really it.
So,
and some clay or whatever, or chalk or all kinds of shit.
Depending on the piece, how long does it take for you to imagine something, paint it, and have it all done? Like, what's the process like? Does it take days, weeks, or a few hours?
For the most part, everything that most. Hey, how you doing? I haven't even shared any art that takes longer than a day. That's why I wasn't expecting anything to happen. I was just working on shit. I was just trying to make content.
Yeah.
I was not trying to get attention. like, oh damn, this is what y'all like. I was not trying to show y'all this. I mean, this wasn't even that deep. So a day, but I feel like that's not enough. Like I used to hate on painters in art school when they were talking art history. Like this took 3 months of painting. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, this shit don't take that long. But if you really want to make something that's going to be like insane, it does. It takes some time. I want to put a month into a piece, but it has to be huge because it can't be no small piece. It has to be huge. I would love to put a month's time into a piece, into every piece, because like, you know, as a photographer, like the better you get at your craft, the sharper your eye get.
Absolutely.
So it's like the better you get, the more flaws you can see. So it's like the more time you can put into it, the more you can make some shit. I understand how you make the Sistine Chapel and all that shit. Like, just take some time.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, you can't get too meticulous or the piece will never be done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm my own.
You can't get lost.
Yeah. I'm my own biggest critic. And whenever I come up with a concept or take a certain picture, there's always something I can improve on, you know, and the job will never get done if I keep picking at it. You know what I mean?
Word.
So how do you cultivate a collector base?
Now that has definitely been through the internet. The internet. I mean, I started off having a bunch of random shows, free shows downtown. Then I feel like the more attention I got on the internet, the more legit galleries would reach out to me. Like I wasn't I had a hustle in mind. I was not gonna break from my hustle. I didn't care about the art world because I could make a lot of money by myself. So I wasn't thinking about a collector base until I started getting invited to be a part of galleries. And they just show up. I don't even really know how to answer the question. They just showed up.
So if you build it, they will come type of thing.
If you build it, they'll come. Yeah, I just was working. And things was just happening because I was working.
I think from the last show, I think it was like last summer or something, my lady and I brought our kid, and the show that you produced was very interactive. You had other people painting with you on a certain piece. And what gave you that idea to have, you know, people just put their own, I guess, personal essence within the piece?
Cause I love for shit to be interactive, man. I love the community of events, but I feel like a lot of times because of social media and because we're so modern now and we're so used to our phones, a lot of times we don't interact the same way we used to. We don't talk to strangers the same way that we used to. So I just like getting people involved, especially because I'm from Wilmington. Like it be blowing my shit when I be in larger cities and people don't be just saying hi to everybody.
Yeah.
It be fucking with me. It be bothering me. It be fucking with my head. Because everybody is so small down here. If you don't say hi, you're awkward.
Yeah.
Like, so I just like the community. I just like community a lot. I like being around people, but people actually being in the present moment together.
That's deep. I mean, just Black people, period, just have a sense of, like, I guess, community within ourselves and tribalism, you know, and it stems from the motherland. It's like in our DNA or whatever. And I really appreciated that, man. Just people coming together as a collective, vibing, good music, good food, and, you know, just feeling that energy. And that's what refuels me as an artist. That what gives me recharges my batteries and makes me want to create that type of energy. Have you ever done any other job?
Out, man.
No problem. Have you ever done any other jobs besides being an artist?
Oh, hell yeah. I was just talking about that. My first job, I worked food and service at a psychiatric center.
Whoa, how was that?
Yeah, that was a lot. I just had to prep food and wash dishes and shit, but I was like 16, 17, actually seeing people who lost their mind.
Mm.
Just seeing a bunch of people who have lost their mind. Like they just don't got it no more. So that was a lot. I think that as a first job made me realize, like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this job shit forever. So then I quit that job because Obama got elected, and that's when I first started selling art. I was like, I'm gonna make these prints. I went to the inauguration. We was out here. I sold a bunch of prints. I was like, this art shit can work. Yes, we can. Obama made me believe in myself. Then I found out all that shit was bullshit. So then I found out that all of that was just like a facade, and I was like, man, fuck art. I got super conscious. I mean, I still am conscious. I'm always conscious. You're always aware. You're always present. I was like, man, fuck all that art shit. I'm just going to be in tune with the earth. But I did need some bread to get like my alkaline water and shit, everything I needed. So I was in the truck sweeping the sidewalks and shit in the malls, a custodian. I delivered newspapers, extended all of the jobs. And then I just went for the art shit all the way. But I like hard labor jobs. I didn't want to talk to people at all. I couldn't do customer service.
I feel that as artists, we have to work those hard labor jobs or work jobs, period, just to like gain life experience and build that character within ourselves. You know what I mean?
Oh shit! Oh yeah, I worked at Amazon as a picker. That was terrible.
Oh man,
that shit is like slavery. That shit was terrible.
I know what you mean. I did UPS for one summer in the factory, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, no, that you can't do that. That's not a sustainable situation.
So how do you interpret the meaning of your work?
How do I interpret the meaning of my work? I guess I interpret the meaning of it by how people respond to it. Because it's just like the tree that, what's this shit, the tree that falls in the wood, nobody hear it because they ain't out there or whatever. Like, if nobody's responding to the work, does it even exist? It's just some shit that it exists to me. So it's the people. I just want the people to fuck with it. Like, don't you know those paintings that you see at almost every black person's household or every other black person's household? I just want a couple of those. I just want to paint a couple of those where you just go to all of these black people's houses and you're like, damn, I see this painting everywhere. So yeah, the meaning is the people. The people make the meaning.
So speaking of that, what's one of the most memorable responses you have gotten for one of your pieces? Maybe that you sold or just posted online?
Shit. What's it? I mean, the shit going viral. When the meme paintings went viral, that was crazy. That was crazy. That was different. Cause that wasn't the plan. It wasn't the plan, but that was a crazy response. I think that's what and I don't even think I celebrated that moment because I just was trying to just keep moving along.
My favorite one, I forget the dude's name. He was a battle rapper and he made that face with the cup in his hand.
Conceited.
Yeah, man, that was one of my favorite ones. I'm like, damn. It was so hilarious just to, like, I know where that meme is from, but then I seen your work. I was like, God damn, man, that's hilarious.
That was a crazy moment.
Is the
And that
art
shit was out of jealousy too.
out of jealousy?
I was out of jealousy because I was like, I was looking at the response that artists' artwork would get online versus memes. And I was like, man, my life, I'm not going to paint nothing that'll get that kind of response and those kind of shares. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to paint memes then. Ain't nobody painting memes.
But
I didn't expect it to get shared like a meme, and then that's what happened. That's what I wasn't expecting.
Oh man, from where I was viewing it, it seemed like a calculated. I mean, it might not be. You might not consider it calculated, but just to get the spotlight on you, that's what it created. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, is the artistic life lonely?
Hell yeah, that's a good ass question. Hell yeah, but I'm trying to figure out if it's supposed to be or not. Because I feel like I just haven't found the right partner. I haven't found the right partner to balance that with, because you need a real cool person to give you the space to create and be in that weird space that we get in when we create and not take it personal. Like, this has nothing to do with you. I'm locked in a whole different way right now. This has nothing to do with you at all. So I feel like for me right now, it is lonely, but it needs to be lonely because I can get distracted by the wrong people. And I don't make a damn thing when I'm distracted by the wrong people. So yeah, it can definitely get lonely, but I think it needs to be sometimes also just for like your unique voice to show through. I think that's important in art for me, at least, for someone's completely unique expression to come through without any other influence. I mean, there's influences like subtly and subconsciously, but just like some shit that's just from them, just them sitting in the room, just them in a black room, just them in the studio. This is what happens when they are just left alone. It's like some alchemist shit.
It's deep, man. I mean, I think at the base of all people, we're all creators in some extent. You know what I mean? Some are more magnified than others. And we can't let what society influences us on relationships interfere with our inner being, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
Yeah, society norms influence us to be certain ways instead of being at our natural state.
It's hard work to fight against society. You got to do that work. Keep a hold of yourself.
Okay, last question. What's the best piece of advice you've been given?
Oh, all right. Yeah. I remember I was flirting with this girl on Facebook. This was a while ago, though. Gold Woman, I think that's her name on Instagram. I was flirting with her, and I was showing her all kinds of different things. Like, you just gotta focus on one of them. It's good that you do. In that moment, because I thought she might be right. I need to just do one of these at a time. And that's what I really locked in on painting. I feel like that was that was a good moment for me.
So she told you to slow down and just focus on one thing. I could dig that. True.
Because I feel like a lot of artists, a lot of us are multi-talented, man. Like you
Yeah.
sound like you could sing or rap. You got a bassy voice. I know you do something with your voice. I know you recorded something before. I know you spit 16 somewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Some
I got a few
point in
16s in the
time
tuck, man.
somewhere.
I got a few 16s
I
in the
know you
cut.
do.
But you know, man, life is a lot different now that you know, I got a seed, so that rapper life is behind me now.
Rapping, man.
So how can people keep in contact with you? How can
I
they buy some work?
bet. But how's that been?
It's been amazing, man.
You can keep it. Yeah, talk about that. I want to know about
Yeah. It's been amazing. He just started walking. That's a beautiful experience in itself. Just the
that. Oh
way
shit.
your reflection looks back at you, but it's not you. It's like a surreal feeling, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's like he has a lot of my mannerisms and my lady's mannerisms and personality traits, and it's like combined into one person. And it's I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's crazy.
It sounds beautiful.
Yeah, man. He's growing just like a flower, man, just like a flower.
That's dope.
Yeah. So yeah, tell the people how they can keep in contact with you and how they can buy some of your art.
Okay, bet. You can find me anywhere online at Yesterday Nite, YESTERDAYNITE. Once again, YESTERDAYNITE. And you can also go to that website, yesterdaynite.com.
Perfect, man. Perfect. I just want to thank you for taking the time out to speak with me, man. I learned a lot of gems and I really appreciate your progress. And I hope that you go as far as you want to take it, man.
And thanks for having me. I appreciate this. I'm gonna need you when I start my podcast. I'm gonna need you.
Absolutely, man. You know where to
Yes.
contact me.
All right, bet. Thank you, man. I appreciate this.
Cool, man. Have a good one, bro.
You too.
All right, bye.